Good morning, traders, and welcome to the Bookmap live trading webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap going through live analysis here as we do every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. Tomorrow we have live trading with Jay Trader, a stocks trader, and Scott Pulcini, a futures trader on Thursday. The concept here, Jay Trader, a stocks trader, is part of our education. We have an educational course. It's online. Let me show you where that is. It's on our YouTube channel. If you come here and if you scroll down a little bit under bonus material here, you'll see the educational courses first right here. So just click on view the playlist. It opens up. There's 4 parts to it. This sets the foundation. Okay, this is the foundation here where you will learn about with part 1 about how the market actually works. What happens when there's liquidity in a market buy or a market sell order, and from the very binary transaction into microstructure, into higher time frame structure. That's when we start to get into part 2 of the educational course, and then part 3 is more about strategies and structure, and part 4 is about confluences and more advanced configurations here. So this course here will set the foundation. It is free. It's open to all. And then from that, we have the live analysis to go through that same course content. So you will see it, put it to the test. And then we have live trading to follow up with everything here. You have the live trading. You have the live analysis. So you can put the pieces together and learn how to read order flow to apply to any type of strategy. Let's go through the disclosures and jump right in. General disclosure: all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right. Let me know if you have any questions. We'll jump right in. Look at the S&P here, 930 cash open. I don't think there's any question about the direction here. Right up to 3,800, the figure here. And it hasn't quite tested yet. But let's zoom in a little closer. All right. 506 contracts up there. High band of liquidity here. You can see that here at around this 97 area, it already filled. And they're on the bid here still. All right, so we're getting up there now. We've seen some pretty strong moves, but this has been a really strong move. This has been more than 50 points, right, since the open. It's just below 37.50. So within this half hour here, we've seen just about a 50-point move. And we're getting pretty lofty up here. They are on the bid. Now, we talked about this behavior that we see a lot in the order book here, and let me go over it again. The liquidity's up here. All right, the sellers are up here at the figure. A lot of times you'll see that these guys here at this 98 level here are front running that liquidity. Let's zoom out a little bit. They were already here before. Okay, in fact, actually 3,800 came in a little bit later. They were here before. Now, they added more in the book just after 10 here. Now, we did have some data here at 10 a.m., the JOLTS job report. But you can see that whatever the, the news was, it doesn't matter. The reaction was buyers, and it was bullish. And they traded up into this 98 level. But it didn't trade to 3,800. Okay, so these larger players up here didn't get filled. It hasn't tested this figure yet, but it did test in front here, and these guys did get filled here around this 98 level. So that's interesting to see. So why the sell-off? Well, we're not finding enough buyers quite yet to get up to this 3,800 here. Okay, so this is starting to, you can kind of see like a strong move, a bit of sideways consolidation or taking a break, and then let's see if we get another strong move now. okay, and looking for buyers to come in and trade up into here. So you see this again and again and again, just shy of the figure. This is where we want to read the order flow or the order book at these levels in here, right? You'll see this time and again. Like I said, they're getting filled here, and they are not filled up here at 3,800. Okay, so it doesn't mean that it's not good. Maybe it doesn't trade, right? Maybe it won't trade today. However, you can see that they're on the bid here in these levels here. They want to try to press this up into 3,800. Okay, so we're seeing still more sellers coming in, but they're on the bid and they are getting filled. Now this is very similar to a spoof. Not really sure what to call this here. They are getting filled in here at this price level at 94. The rest of these levels here, they all canceled. Okay, so what's going on in here? This is like a spoof. That high liquidity, every point here, 91, 92, 93, 93 and a half, 94. Now at 94, they are getting filled. Okay, so is it a spoof any longer? Not really. But then you can see they all cut at the same time. So is it the same player? Pretty likely, pretty likely. And what is their game here? Well, to me, it looks like they're trying to get filled or trying to maybe press price back up into here. You will see this time and again at the end of moves. Okay, so trying to get it back up into these areas here. Now, we just had a nice little flush through here with the move to the downside. To where? Look to the left here, and let's look at this reaction. This is where we saw the breakout here. So it's a little bit above that, which is kind of bullish. And now we're seeing buyers come in. Okay, great. So let's see if we can get the buyers to come in and trade up to 95 here, where these sellers came in. After they pulled that liquidity, they dropped it. Okay, the sellers came in and it dropped. So let's see if we can get buyers now to come in and trade up to 95. Okay, so we see the buyers already here, and we don't really know right now. We don't see too much on the bid here in these levels here. So you know, not too much to write home about at the moment here. If we see a little more action on the bid followed by big green dots here, we're looking for a move. Okay, 95 would be, or just shy of it, would be a consideration to take some off. All right, so let's see. We're looking for those buyers right now. See them on the bid here. The reaction is the green dots. Let's see it. No, not yet. Okay, it is still in this range here. This is when we look at structure. See the structure in here? It didn't break it. It just came up and kind of tested up here. Now, let's see if we can get buyers right now. Now we're looking for them to break it. Okay, they broke it. Still looking for 93 and then 95. $93.50, I should say. Okay, there's 93.50. Still looking for more. Looking for 95. Consideration up at these levels here. See where it came to here? Let's just zoom in. So 94 and a quarter. Okay, take some off. Okay, as a consideration in your trade management. These are not trade recommendations. Okay, just need to reiterate that from our risk disclaimer and disclosures here. You understand that. But you're just reducing risk here. So that's the consideration. Okay, so in here, it wasn't quite ready. Here, we're looking for it, right? We were looking for the break here. This is where you get in. This is where you are looking for taking some partial profit. And this is what you're holding for what? 3,800. All right, so I'm just outlining here again. This is not a trade recommendation, but using order flow to read this in here, put the pieces together to offer you an edge. All right, and now we're looking for follow through still. okay, to the upside. All right. Any questions on this? Let me go back to YouTube here and take a quick look. Aloha surfer, good morning. And let me look over here in Discord. Okay. Good morning, slow down. All right, no questions. Okay, great. All right, guys. Well, anyway, this is scenario number one. Now, we've already reduced some risk. Okay, so we're going through a trading plan here. We got to go through the opposite because I was just afraid of this to happen here. So we got to go through the opposite scenario here. Okay, because this is what we're talking about here is we're looking for that edge in the order flow. Now we reduce risk. Okay, great. Now, what do we want to do with the rest? Okay, so we see sellers just came in. Okay, popped it down here to 92. And we still have more buyers. Good morning, Tex-Mex. All right, guys. Well, so anyway, this is where it was just tested where it broke out from here, where we were looking to get in and ride this up. Okay, so now it's really up to you, like how you want to manage this. I don't. Alan, are you in here? Alan was our poster boy for a long time to look at these areas in here. Look for something high probability, and then just all in, all out. Okay, so you would have taken this in here around this area here around 90. Let's just be a little more precise. 92 on up to about here, 94.5. All right, so there's 2.5 points, and it's up to you. Like what is your time frame, and what is the amount that you want to risk? Okay, so if you're looking for, I would say this, as I was saying to Alan, build confidence in some of these moves. So you're just looking to take that off, right? And now you have a winner. Look for the next one. Build confidence. Okay, scaling in and scaling out is much more complex. And there's a lot of emotions that get wrapped up in that, etc. This is just looking for something high probability and getting out. All right, now you can see the higher time frame starting to work out here. Here's our buyers here. Now let's see if we can get back up, and let's look at this in here. They're pulling this liquidity here. I don't see anyone on the bid yet, but we are getting our green dots here. Okay, this makes me a little queasy right now because look at this. Here are buyers, but we're not able to lift the market. Why? Well, look here. We have iceberg orders on the other side absorbing as much as they can here, it looks like. Okay, it's quite a bit. It's about 1,000 icebergs. Let's turn on our on chart iceberg order. Okay, so we noticed something was a little weird here, right? Something a little strange. They pulled that liquidity. Look at all this buying. Why isn't it going up to 97 and 98, 99, 3,800? Okay, well, it's because it's running right into these icebergs. Okay, so let's turn on the on chart here, and that's fine. Okay. Now icebergs, whatever. I mean, they're still here. 1141 was what pretty big one transacted there. It's still in the market here, still ready and waiting to trade more. Okay, they're selling here. Okay, now do we have enough buying pressure to trade into and through these guys and still hit the figure? Okay, so there's a lot of gaming going on right here, right in front of the figure at 3,800. Okay, a little, 5 points away from the figure at the moment, but pretty big iceberg. right? 1300 now, 1300 contracts. It's still here, still in the market, still transacting, hasn't gotten its full size on yet. This is looking more like a stock to me. I've seen this with stocks before. Iceberg detector does not work with stocks, but I've seen it before. It's pretty amazing to see a price comes into an area and it just is relentlessly like hitting the bid or whatever it is, but someone's on the other side and they are not letting it drop 1 cent, not 1 cent. Finally, the sellers give up, the buyers come in, and just it rockets to the upside. Okay, so this here is the opposite. They're on the offer, and did they absorb all of that buying pressure into the iceberg yet? I don't think so. I think we're still looking for some more buyers in here. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Now, we'll see how much this guy actually has on. Maybe it's 2,000, maybe it's 1,500. We don't know. We don't know the size of the iceberg. We just know when they're transacting. Okay, and if they're still here in the market. All right, here we go. Let's see it. Big transactions, 1,700, still in there, still transacting. 1,800, it's running right into iceberg. Okay, see how that they completely absorbed all of that buying pressure, completely absorbed it. This is why sellers are able to take it right back down to the bottom of the range and possibly to the next bottom of a range down here, right? I'm just saying, you know, look, these tools are pretty amazing and it's giving you a lot of insight here. So if they can't get through it, you look for a move. You can look for a move to the bottom range or even continuation, maybe even a reversal. Okay, it hit up here three or four times now, and not able to get through this area. Okay, so it's got to come back down. We got to see it come back down here, and then reattack this area. Find more buyers at a lower area here, if there are more buyers. See how you can put that together within your trading plan here? Like this is a confluence in here. And see how that can give you a lot of insight. And they're still here. 1,862. There's actually 2 icebergs in here and we see 2 transactions. Okay, so we can really get into the details here if we zoom in. I'll refrain from doing that, but there's 2 different icebergs. That's what the /2 means here. The 1 in parentheses or the 2 in parentheses here means how much traded from one of those icebergs. Or I'm sorry, the number of here, let me show you here. Okay, in the knowledge base, this is where you can find out more information about it. Go to bookmap.com, go to the knowledge base, click on add-ons here, and then in here click on the on chart indicator for stops and icebergs. There's subchart, here's on chart. Okay, and scroll down here, and you know, this goes through all of the different settings and outputs, etc. What everything means. All right. Okay. Interesting insights. All right, so back down to this area here, and we're about 87, and back down to the range, back down to where it broke out from here. This should have gone, right? This is pretty amazing stuff. this should have gone up into here. And now we know why. This player here, or these two players here, one in particular, no question about that. All right. Well, anyway, we don't want to use the icebergs and stops as a signal. Okay, it is just a part of the order flow, and therefore it is only a confluence. Right? It's not a signal. The order flow in the bigger picture is telling us, well, it's being absorbed up here. The iceberg is telling us who's absorbing it, or how it's being absorbed, and then the order flow is telling us there are no more buyers in here interested in taking it, try to take these guys on anymore, and we see the drop. Okay. And again, we covered this beginning of the webinar, that we see this behavior a lot of times. Okay, I thought we'd get from here, I thought we'd get up to 3,800, and then this iceberg in here, just absorbing all of this in here, and then look for sellers to try to take it back down into bottom of the range here, and they took it, and we talked about it. We talked about 90, okay, as a potential move. They can also take it down to the bottom of this range. Well, they took it even further. Okay, the market has gone back down to the bottom of this swing here. All right, so now let's look at the bigger picture and start to put pieces together. So it could still come back down into this area here. Price could come back down into 80 or 82 here, and you can still be bullish. It's a strong move, it's a pullback followed by strong move. All right, so we're waiting and watching in here. Right now, we got a little consolidation period in here. Okay, and let's see who wins the battle outside of this consolidation period here. Thanks, Creative 331. Bert, what didn't you know? And we got Loco in here too. Good morning. Oh, the two, yeah. Well, I think it's actually number of transactions is the let's take a look at it here. We can figure it out. I believe it's the number of transactions. That /2 means two different icebergs at the same price level. Okay, now one just got filled there and the other one was still in there for a second. All right, so here, let's take a look at this one, right? Here it was 2 because of 1, 2 right here. That's it. Okay, and that was it. So in the parentheses, it's 2 for 2 transactions. Okay, it's for 40, but there was 2 transactions. Okay, volume of 40. Right, that's what it is. The slash after it signifies how many icebergs. So there might be, minimum of 2 if there's going to be a slash there, but it might be 4 or 5. I don't know. I have never seen. I think I've seen 3 or 4, but I've never seen really more than that. See, here's a /2 right there. And this is where you really have to kind of zoom in to get the full details. If you want that, it's in there, right? But it's going to get really muddled, because if they're at the same price level, which one is which, and they're just going back and forth. We just know the overall, and that's good enough. I mean, that's plenty. That's the information we need to know. All right, so we're back and forth in this little area here. Let's see what we get. What do we get? Okay, guys, so we have that was a really nice insight up here with this iceberg detector. Okay, here comes some buyers, right? So we got the back and forth in here. Look at the iceberg buying in here as well. 37.40 calls, 37.35, 37.30. Not sure what you mean. That's way down here. Yeah, I mean, maybe, you know, I mean, look, there's a lot going on up here at the figure. You know, these are bigger. There's a lot going on here. All right, here come our buyers, right? So out of this little pattern here, the buyers are winning this consolidation period, looking for them to come right back up here. Okay, right back to these guys here. Okay, retest these guys at 95, looking for it. Right now, again, I kind of missed this, but this is the same process we just talked about. In this area in here, looking for the pressures within the range, buying pressures into this, through it, up into this 91, a little bit higher, and then now we're getting a bit of a pullback here. But remember how we looked at ranges, okay, and measured moves in here. Let's just go through it. All right. And this is that discussion, and I like this discussion. I don't know if it's resonating with you guys or not, but you know, we're just to kind of debunk some of the just information out there about fibs and all these different things. But measured moves make sense due to the order flow. All right. And we can see we just bounced off of this here, okay, and we're back into this range in here. Okay, so right back into this range in between 90 and 87. All right, so we came back down to the bottom of this range here, but we're right in the middle here. Now, so we saw the buyers win this. Okay, now it didn't follow through. However, you can reduce some risk and look for the next one. Take some off, reduce the risk, or let's suppose you're just trading one contract. You can do two things. You can take your profit up at like a very high probability kind of move up into an area of liquidity to test. Okay, maybe up to here, this level here, it came just shy of it. Okay, or look at these transactions here, it came right to that. Okay, right here. You'll have to kind of look at it here. I mean, let's just zoom out a little bit more. This looks really good right in here, right? So, and that's exactly where it went to, and then it failed and came right back down here. Okay, now right now we don't really know who's in control in this area here. It looks like buyers here, but they were out of control as soon as it came back down to the bottom here. Okay, but we still see a lot of buying, and now we're back up into this range. All right, let's see if we can get a little more buying here. A little bit of a boost from the bid and them to pull here at 93. Okay, looking for that scenario, and then looking for, let's see if we can get it. Nope. Sellers. Okay, here we go. Okay, more buying. Yeah, I'm not too eager on this one right now. Not too eager. I'd let that pass. Okay, we can even look at the opposite scenario here. You can see the break. Okay, and back down to the bottom of the range here. Okay, let's see if we can get one more push from the sellers down to about 86 and a quarter. Okay, and now why wasn't I so hot on this one here? Right, I saw the buying in here, but it just wasn't lifting the market. And then there's this little back and forth in here. If there was a retest, if it came down here and we didn't find sellers, and we came back up here again, I would be interested. It now has tested it a few times. We found, a lot of buying up here. We're looking for the follow through. Right? In this case, like it's the opposite scenario. We didn't find the buyers. We found some sellers in here, and it broke the range. Okay, now we're coming right back up. Okay, we see a little bit on the bid way down here though at 88. Yeah, I don't want to see him at 88. I want to see him up higher. Okay, we got our buyers again. All right, buyers. Now we should see it. See them pulling here. Let's see the bid show a little bit more. Okay, and now looking for 93 and 95. And that's where our iceberg is. Remember, 95. Okay, still looks pretty good. Still looks pretty good. Okay, be careful here. This is again, I don't feel too comfortable about this one because we may find the exact opposite scenario. We need to be kind of careful. And then the sellers come in here. If they can't lift it here, now we got to 93, right? But we haven't really seen the follow through yet. Okay, we just didn't have much on the bid, and these buyers couldn't lift it here. Now we're getting it. All right. So we're up through it, looking for that iceberg to test one more time, and we'll see how much this iceberg has behind it here. Okay, this looks better in here. See how this looks better? Can you see the size of the dots? Right. All right, so there we go. It's still in here. My God, it's up to like 2200, 2250. They're getting on as much as they can. 2400. Okay, pretty big. Totally absorbing it. Look at the edge in the profile that this iceberg is creating. Guys, if you like this video, please subscribe or this webinar. This is our education. We go through this every day here. All right, can't make it. Maybe we'll get another attack here, but looks like seller's going to try to maybe bring it maybe back down to the 88-ish level down here. Can't get through it. Super like. Okay, thank you, Ahmed. That's very nice to hear. What are my settings for iceberg? Sure, the on chart, Brian, or the sub chart here. We have two. It comes with the MBO bundle package. Guys, just so you know that the MBO bundle package, it's sold on the Bookmap marketplace. That's how you get it. It's not part of Global and Global Plus, but it works with either one. The on chart. Okay, my on chart settings. Yep, let's just go to it here. Here it is. And show icebergs. So right now you can see I'm not filtering for anything in here. That I want to see all iceberg transactions right now. So that's why you're seeing quite a bit of lines in here, and quite a bit of noise in here. I'm afraid to filter it because I want to see what's made up this whole iceberg here. Sometimes you won't see an iceberg here, but you'll see it in the subchart, right? It's not an error. It's because you're filtering for it here, because you don't want to muck up your chart. So you can do the automatic threshold here. See, now it's 100. See, it's grayed out here, but 124 is what it's going to show as the minimum threshold, right? So any iceberg full iceberg. Now, a full iceberg, if it was 50, if it was 100, it's not going to show. If it was 123, it's not going to show. Okay, it has to be a full, the iceberg from the beginning of it to its transaction or cancellation or its execution, full execution. It has to be above 124. Else, filter it out. So that's how that works. Now this one's still in here. So, obviously it's one iceberg for a lot plus another iceberg for we don't know exactly how much for that second one. All right, we just know there's a lot up here. Okay, so that's how I've got it here. I don't have the threshold on. See, if I deselect it here, it's still 124 here manually. I have to input 0. Okay, now it'll show all icebergs again. Right? Yeah. So up to you, Brian. Play around with it to find what works for you. No, the Iceberg Trader 8G, it only works for CME group instruments, and you must have rhythmic data. All right. That's why it's so specific. That's why we sold it separately on the Bookmap marketplace. If you're interested, let me show you where it is. Go to bookmap.com and then click on the more button and then go to the marketplace here, right? And you'll see MBO bundle here. That's the one. Click on that and it will take you, it should take you right to it, but it's not at the moment. I'll make sure that we get that fixed. And if you scroll down, it's not here. Okay. All right, so just search for it in here, MBO. All right, search, there it is right here. Okay, so here are the details on it. Sold separately, right? Works with global or global plus, but remember, it's very specific. It's only for CME group instruments and only for with rhythmic data. So you will need a subscription to rhythmic data, but you can get that here from the marketplace as well. Okay, right here. So you don't have to go through all the, go back to rhythmic and whatever. Just scroll down and click on rhythmic here. That'll take you to, hold on. That'll take you to here, right? And click on that, and here you go. So you can get rhythmic data for the CME here for 39 bucks. Okay, if you want the full CME bundle, it's 99 bucks. All right, data is expensive, guys. It's just part of the game. All right, so we're back up here to this iceberg. Look at this. That means this is telling us something. There's a lot of buying pressure in here. Okay, I'm just intrigued by this guy here. How much size does he have? How much is he willing to get on here? Is he trying to stop the market from going higher to hit 3,800? I mean, it's, he's definitely like literally drawn the line here in the sand, right? And he's just staying here and getting filled and filled and filled. Okay, let's see if we've seen 3,000 as being the kind of big number lately. 3,000 contracts, one player, 3,000 contracts. Well, in this case, two players, I guess, but there it is, over 3,000. And can't get above it. Guys, this is a really good example of absorption. Okay, it just happens to be with an iceberg. Okay, in the heat map, you'll see the same thing in stocks. And why I'm going over that is it's really important to understand the terminology because this is how the market works. And it's being visualized for you right in front of you. All right, so, and we're getting a lot of insight from this. So, God, I mean, you can just keep on trading it up to this guy, basically. Look at the profile. I love this kind of stuff. Look at the profile here. It's just it's kind of laughable. It there was some that traded before this iceberg came in, and that's it. And here it is, 4,132 so far, and it's still there. If there's still buying pressure, this guy's going to get his iceberg filled, and we'll come back up into these higher levels here. Okay, this has got to be the high volume node for the day, and it is. Okay, so and it's due to this iceberg. Really interesting iceberg information here, and classic example of absorption. Doesn't get any better than that. Okay, the beauty of it too is that we don't even have the heat map in here. There's 200 contracts here on the and just a little bit ago there was 116 here, right? Or 5, 17, 47. Look at that, right? We're seeing thousands of contracts trade up here, and they can't trade through it. They should be able to trade right through it. There they go. There they go. Finally, we got the break. Okay, this guy got filled, completely executed. Actually, there was 13 icebergs here. So a lot of people joined the party here for 6,214 contracts, right? And here's the move up and the move right back down. So we got some volatility right around 95 right now. Okay. Wow. 95. Look at that. Okay, where's the buying pressure now? That's all the way at the bottom. Okay. I thought the Jolt's job report was or openings was a little bit later. No? Let's take a look. Now that was at 10 a.m., right? Or 10:05 it looks like. Yeah, 7 a.m. Pacific. Yeah. All right, so not able they got their size on and went through it, and then look at the rejection. Okay, so now in this smaller time frame, sellers took it down. They took control. Okay, back down into this bigger range in here. All right, now let's see if we can get more sellers. Look at this one iceberg following. Okay, looking for some sellers back down here and break into 85. Let's see if we can get that. Liquidity is down here at 85. Our beautiful big profile here for the session is the bottom of the profile is around here, 87 or so. Okay, but the liquidity is here at 85. So somewhere around in here, kind of looking, see if we can get sellers to trade back down there. Here we go. Let's see it, sellers. You've got it. And let's see if we can push it here. So another little retest there. And hit it. Not yet. Not yet. That's why we want the confirmation when they're going to hit it. You know, we're looking for this combination of things in here. Okay, we still may get it. Okay, see how this is our pivot points that we've talked about, and there is no indicator for it, but we just kind of mark it up. We note where the sellers took it down right here, and we have buyers back up above. Here's our measured move as well. And if this fails here up at the top of this range, Now we're looking for sellers right here at 90.5. All right, so let's see if we can get that. And not even close. Buyers are taking it away here. Right back up to 95. Wow. Guys, we haven't taken a look at our bigger picture yet, so we'll take a step back here, and let me also get to any questions in here that you may have. Okay. Interesting discussion going on in here about some of these levels in YouTube. Good morning, Carol. Well, the icebergs there, we just know that they're getting filled on the offer. Their position, we don't know if they're getting out of a position or if they're selling to enter a position. It doesn't really matter. It's the number of transactions that really matter. James, there's no way to know the intent of the orders. Sorry for the cats. Okay. Yeah, I mean there is when we get the confirmation. So that's what I mean. Like when we trade up to a level, and this is kind of what like Scott Pulcini goes through. It's the order flow event, right? Like we don't know if these are buyers or sellers up here. I mean, we know they're selling icebergs, okay, and we know they want to get their position filled. There's no question about that. And they finally did get totally filled, and then we see, the selling come in right away. It's after the event we want to look at the order flow. It's like the news. The news is the same thing. We have the news event, and now what's the reaction to the news? And that's kind of the key. All right. So the order flow event is very similar. It's the and the beauty of the order flow is like the argument here is this, like, well, okay, that this is what traders think of this instrument at this time. Okay, so here there's some sellers here. Yeah, I'm looking for them to hit the bid. I'm looking for 88, 87, 86, maybe our 85 level here, right? They're winning this battle here, this back and forth in here, right? Looking for them to follow through now. Okay, so that's again based on the order flow in here that we saw previously. Okay, now this is where we get into, like, we don't know what let's say a whole bunch of buyers come in on the other side here and lift it right back up to 95. Right? We don't know that, but we can look for, in general, what we know is that there's more sellers in here and they're kind of controlling this market, so we look for them to take it lower. All right, now this is where we get the insight too. See the reaction to this liquidity here. So that's the intent. James, it's a very good question, James, and I really like it. I'm glad you asked this because it's the intent the intent of these traders here. Who cares? And we want to know the reaction to this liquidity here. And it sold off, and it sold off into high liquidity down here. Okay, so we're looking for 85, right? Well, that just transacted. Okay, so 86, 85, and then this guy is still in here, or it's a larger player along with others at 88.5, but they were also here at 87. So this is, we're getting some, some pretty aggressive stuff going on in here. And buyers took them on at 87, so they're still buying pressure. So if they can come back up, maybe they can trade up into 88.5, and they did. And they did trade with this guy. And see, now we can see the battle still kind of raging here. Okay, do we get more buyers? We get more sellers. Okay, what's the reaction to these orders here? That's what we want to know, that kind of context. Okay, so it's becoming a little more difficult here. Well, not anymore. There we go. We found buyers. They traded into and through these guys here. Now, that's our event. What's the reaction after? Okay, well, we're still finding buyers here. All right. So if we can still find buyers in here, we're looking for up to here, these levels, 94 to 95. Okay, now we got to be careful here, because what are these orders telling us in here? Right, that's what we want to read. And we're not getting too much information here, right above this 90 level here. Not too much information. Like there's some, and then there's some selling here. There's some buyers here, and then again some buyers here. But see how this is after this event here. Well, it's still above it. It's still accepting above it, but this does not look like the players in here are not really telling us it wants to go up to 95 right now. Okay, it had its potential. Okay, but this is where it's like, okay, I'm going to filter out this trade idea until I have some more information, okay, from the participation of the orders in here, of the players in here via their orders. Okay, now guys, pulling at 92.5. Now we got our buyers here, seeing a little more on the bid. Okay, this is looking better. I still don't like it, but I would look for 94, 95 to transact here. Okay, I just don't like it because we're not seeing the buyers really come in hand over fist here, and then the sellers or the buyers are down way on the bid down here at 89.5. Right, so does that really give me like a high probability insight here that we're gonna come back up into 94, 95? Not really. Okay, now if we see a test down here into this 89.5 level, or maybe even a little bit lower, and they stay in the book and they add even more, and then we see the reaction to that is that they're staying in here, and then we see big green dots charging right back up to the top. I would look for not only a retest to the top of the range, but then we have the potential more likely for our breakout into 94, 95. Right, now this is starting to work out. Okay, this was the what do you say, is the directional move we were looking for was still 94, 95. We just didn't get a high probability outlook via the order flow. Okay, big distinction to filter out some of this in here and look for something that just is kind of really telling you where price wants to go. I hope that's helpful. Now we need to put that into a plan. Now look at this. Buyers back up here. Do we see our iceberg up here? Nope. A little bit. There was 13 icebergs up here. They're going to be up here again, I'm sure. We just see one transaction for 37 so far. Okay, now there's high liquidity here at 95 too. Okay, so they're still defending this area here at 95. And there's our breakout. There's our breakthrough. Okay, stop run, beautiful stop run. Okay, this is a volatile area here, very volatile, very sensitive to this 95 level. Okay, but what is telling us here? Well, it's not telling us that much. If this is a stop run here and that's all it is, well then it's not saying that this is new buying back up above here. Okay, and it's a huge stop run. It's huge. If we add all of these together in here, does that equal, we can put on our sweeps indicator. and kind of get some insight here on this sweep. Okay, now the sweeps and absorption indicator, they well, we covered it last week. I'll point you to the webinar if you guys have questions on that. But what we're going to do is we're going to compare the stop run here versus the order book sweep, right? So that'll filter out, you know, the stops. So we should be able to see we minus the stops from the sweep, or subtract the stops from the sweep. Okay, so I have a filter here. Right, I don't want a filter. Okay. Again, it's okay. So just a second here. All right, there's our sweep. All right, so we had what, 768 stops. Okay, what do we have for our sweep? 589 for our book sweep. Now, so I would say the majority of these are stops then. There's no question about it. Like our sweeps, there was a couple different sweeps in here, as you guys know, and they start here. But all of this volume here is not in that calculation. So that's why it's less than the stop run, because the stop run started over here. Right here is where that stop run started. Okay, so it includes all of this volume. That's why this is rare that you find that there's actually more volume in the stop run than the sweep. But in this case, the sweep doesn't include this volume in here. All right, so what does that mean? That means that this move here, now this is where we're going to go over the order flow again, and we're going to get some information from this, and then we can kind of figure out where price might be going next, is that the volume, the buyers above this area here, and we're looking to see if we can get buyers above it. We did, but is it real buying, new buying in here for position? No, it's not. Basically, it's capitulation. And if we find sellers on the other side here, they can move this pretty quickly to the other side. Okay, we'd look for that. All right, now this is where you have to be very careful about sweeps and about stop runs. Okay, this is correct that these are a lot of people getting stopped out. That's correct. Okay, but it doesn't matter, and we look for a scenario where we get sellers on the other side and then a drop back down. Okay, but it doesn't matter that it's a stop run. If we get more buyers back in above 95 in here, and you know price is accepting above 95 here, now we're looking for the figure. Okay, it just doesn't matter, right? This is where I think a lot of people get hung up on stops. It is telling us something, okay, and we're looking for now an order flow. That was the order flow event, was the stop run. Now we're looking for what happens after the event. Did we get those big sellers down here? No, they just came back down to the bottom of the range at 95 here. Okay, so we can put that into our plan, right? And we see buyers coming back in here, great buyers in here. Okay, let's see 98 test. Okay, and the figure. Okay, and the figure is probably already tested by now. Yeah, it has. Okay, so finally 3,800. Now look what we had to go through to get to 3,800. Someone here absorbing all sorts of size here at 95. We finally get a stop run, and then we get new buyers coming in and stop runs too. Okay, people getting stopped out on up to 3,800. Now, so look, let's take a look at all this price action in here. That's a lot of gaming, right? A lot of gaming the price levels in here. And we're starting to understand, though, some of the games in here that are happening. So another scenario now. So now we're back down to 95. Okay, obviously this is a critical area here at 95. Are we accepting above, or is it going to reject? And we see sellers come in hand over fist. Okay, if we do, we're going to look for that. We're going to look for sellers coming in, trading in 95, and then 90. Back down to this liquidity here. We can even look again at our measured moves in here. Okay, so range. And then let's move these around. Up to here. Or down to here. Okay, beautiful. 90 right there. Okay, what about up here? Yeah, 05 or so. Okay, now what's the order flow like within some of these ranges? What's the largest absorption? Well, and there was one particular stock that I saw. It was years ago, and this was before we had any of these indicators. But it was incredible. In fact, I was on demoing Bookmap to somebody at that time, and what happened was price just cratered into a level here. That liquidity traded pretty quickly, and then I don't know, it was like 50,000, 60,000 shares or something like that. But it was, for that stock, that was a lot. And I mean, it was just so apparent that it was an iceberg. It was amazing. And, you'll see that, not every day, but that kind of behavior, I mean, just so vividly. I mean, he's just really broadcasting himself. You'll see like the icebergs in the S&P typically behave a little differently. Maybe they'll get some on, come up, and they'll get some on again, or whatever. So it'll kind of ease into the position. This one instead was just so blatant. It was just here's where I want to buy, and you're broadcasting it to everybody. Yeah, that was an interesting one. All right, let me get back here. Any more questions? Sam, if this iceberg up here, this 107, is above the price right now, so these are sellers. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's blue, I mean what color it is, it's the same color on either side. Then that it's an iceberg selling if you see it above the price. If it's below, they are buying. All right. Yeah, Ben, you can trade off a trade of 8 in Bookmap. You can connect a trade of 8 and you can trade, no problem. Okay, Captain Price, lots of different stuff in here. Boy, I remember Sam was talking about whatever you're drinking in your coffee or putting in your coffee, it's working. I'm just kidding, but a lot of energy. It's fantastic. Thank you. All right, so let's just see what other kind of questions we have in here. Okay. Nespresso, yeah. Well, it's still accepting above 95 right now, right? And all it's doing is just going back and forth right now. We don't really have too much insight. I'm going to filter, guys, the on-chart indicator for stops and icebergs. Here we go. I really love this filter, and we've used this now for many different products here. See how it was 124, now it's 70. Okay, because what this filter is doing is taking the standard deviation, okay, the SD, over an interval of 60 minutes here. I think 30 is the default. I think I was demoing it and I never changed it back to 30. And then the multiplier here. So you can take that it's one standard deviation. Now you can make it more, right? And then you can see, look what happens here. See, it's grayed out, so I can't touch it unless I deselect this box here. Now I can input anything I want manually. All right, so this is a way to play with it, and using time frame and standard deviation is good. So it will always be changing. This number will be changing in here always. Okay, so I really like it. I think it's very intelligently done, and let's do the same for the stops here. Now see what we've done. Even with the stops now 56 or greater is what we're looking for, and see how it filters out a lot of noise in here. Okay, so we're just looking for the bigger transactions. Okay, we have our sweeps indicator. Look at this. So look at this in underneath here. So there's a real nice looks to me like a spoof, but here's our reaction to it, to trade up into the figure again. All right, so there's an iceberg going off again. So let's see if we can pop now a little bit higher here. High of the day is up here at 01, or what is it? It's just a little bit above the figure. Now it does not want to. Look at that. Look at that. All right, so that's interesting there. That's telling us something, right? Sellers moving it away from the figure very, very quickly. Okay, 93, 92. Let's see if them drop it into that. Okay, this is some big selling in here. Okay, trying to pull it away back to 95. Let's see if they can pull it away from 95 back into the range. 93. There we go. Let's see if we can get a continuation here through this liquidity here, and on down to 90. Okay, there's 93. There's a sweep into 93. Still looking for another move down into 90 here. Okay, guys. So and 90 matches up to what we had kind of marked up here. Okay, this is our range. This was above the range here, which we never got to. And then now we're looking for the move back down to the bottom of the range. Traded into high liquidity here, and through it. So looking for the sellers to hit down into 90. All right, and let's talk about this, like how, trade management and considerations. This would be really hard to catch right here. Okay, you can't really catch that unless you're positioned up here. All right, maybe if you're really quick on your with your fingers here, you wouldn't catch any of this in here. You would have to be in it. Let me explain why in here. Okay, there's just no way you could catch this. It's not possible unless you were in it previously. This is because this is one event here that unfolded. It unfolded here, and this was the last time best bid and offer was updated, was right after this event. So this is one event. Now this is the way the exchange, and this is really important part of our education. This is why I spend some time on this to go through for you guys here, because once you start to understand how these markets move in here, that will change your understanding here of your strategies and indicators and everything. And this is something I think unique in Bookmap education. And it can be used for anything though, right? If it's volume profile trading, if it's like pattern trading, if it's Wyckoff distribution levels or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. This is how the market works, and we should all know this, and we can apply it to anything. So why is it not possible to get involved in here? Because it's one event. It traded into this high liquidity and they blazed right through it. Let's just go through this event here. This is really important, I feel. Okay, I mean it might be a detail for a lot of guys. Let me just cover this here. They swept the order book lower. Our sweeps indicator picked that up. Okay, and was this, let's see if there's any stops in here. Yeah, we do see stops here. Okay, but the stops, let's turn our stops all the way on too. We'll go through everything in here, and bear with me on this, because it's like I said, what we can take away from this is a lot. So we're going to turn off our filter on our stops and icebergs here. Okay, it's being filtered out. That's why we're not seeing it. All right, so we turn this back on. We'll get our stops in here. Okay, so this is what happened. Swept the order book for this sweep here was from here to here was 205 contracts. Then it swept it again here. Okay, now this is the same order. Okay, and it's still transacting. This is when you hit market sell order here, it is still transacting here because you've swept the order book of all these areas here. You've taken all of this liquidity here, 37, 110, and 80. Now, note that the traded volume here, this is really fascinating stuff. Note that the traded volume here is equal to the order book, because this is one event and the best bid and offer have not updated yet. Even this one here, it is the same as the bid here, right? 459, and then this one here is still transacting. Okay, 31. All right, 31 have traded out of 88. We haven't gotten through it yet. Now they're equal because this is that one event that is still unfolding. Now the CME, the way we get the data from the CME, or the way the CME transmits this data here, this event has precedence. And then there's also a precedence in the queue for the aggressors. Okay, there's two different queues here. We always talk about the queue in the order book. Okay, the limit order book, the passive orders, how they're always pulling and adding liquidity in here. Okay, here it's something different. We're getting the precedence by the aggressors, and the precedence is this larger player in here. This one order has precedence. It transacts, and then if there are any other orders, aggressive orders that are related to this event here, then they will start to transact after this one order is finished. So for example, stops. Okay, and where are our stops? Okay, I guess I still have the filter on. Hold on. Yeah, I do. Okay. Now it should be showing. Oh no, sorry guys, that's the alert threshold. Okay, this is alerts. I'm sorry, I got that wrong. All right, stops here. This is why. Okay, so we need to take this down to 0. Okay. Okay, now it'll show. All right, so this is good. Okay, so here's what unfolded. This large order unfolded. Along the way, from this point on down, okay, from this point on down, there are stops in here. We don't know where those stops are. Okay, they're in here somewhere, all the way down from this price level here at 99 and a quarter, all the way down to here at 97. They may be all at 97. We don't know, right? But or maybe one tick above 90. So this is actually 96 and 3/4. All right, so they might be at 97. We don't know. What we do know is that this order transacted fully. It was a market sell order, okay? And once it has triggered stops along the way, now the stops start to transact. And this is how you get slipped. And now we have 30, only 30 were stopped out here. Okay, not many after this big event. And now how do we know that this is one event in here? It's because look out the best bid and offer update much later. Okay, in fact, the best offer updated first and then the best bid. All right, so and look at and we went through this here as well. The right in here, the transactions are equal to the book, okay, because it swept the book. So all of these cells here are equal to, well, once we get all of them in there, they're equal to exactly what's in here in the in the order book. It should be 115, 111. I'll have to look at that in more detail. Anyway, so it swept the order book. It swept all these price levels, and then these stops get filled and stuffed here at the end. And now, after that event took place, okay, these transactions took place. First, the aggressor, the seller, then the stops, then they're filled. Now, best bid and offer update. That is the chain of events here. Okay, and you can see as well here, this liquidity here, why did it stay in the order book? It didn't stay in the order book here. It completely filled, right? It just got updated here. And that's where we see the 446. All right, because that high liquidity all filled. Okay, so it's important to understand these things. That's what unfolded here. The data here is very high quality. And then look at this. On top of that, this is kind of wicked stuff. After that run here, an iceberg on the other side. Okay, so they're not even going to show in the order book. They're going to cap this off to keep people, or to keep price to float back up here. So a lot of times there's a vacuum in here, and it is precisely like a vacuum. If there's a whole bunch of sellers in here, maybe the best bid and offer, you can see this the spread in here. Maybe it updates a little bit later. And well, it does update a little bit later, but it's easy for one lot to trade back up here, even though it took millions of dollars maybe to move it back down. Okay, that would be your low volume pullback or your vacuum fill in here, like a gap fill. It is no different. It's all the same stuff. Instead, we're not going to get that because there's a larger player on the other side here that immediately after they did this, they're getting filled. Okay, this is the game that they're playing. They're getting filled on the offer here. All right, so what happened to price? Well, it cratered down into our 93 level, and we were looking for our 90 level, and it came just shy of it. Okay, and now we're right back up here again. Okay, hold on, let's go back here. All right, so anyway, pretty successful event there to get price down to about 90. Okay, did 90 transact? Oh, it did transact right into it. Boom, right here. All right, guys. So anyway, when we see these things, it's like, what just happened? This is what just happened in here. And once we start to understand some of these things in here, we can look at these levels in here. And what James was asking, like, we can't understand the intent. Okay, well, we can understand the event, and we can understand what happened after the event. Okay, and we're looking at what are the reactions of traders after some of these events take place. That's what we want to understand. Okay, and that is a great way to use order flow. All right, long diatribe on that one. Let me know if there's any questions on that. And I want to get that some of these ideas. We've covered some of these ideas before many times, but this was a really good example here, and the different kind of gaming of the market and some of these price levels up here. Okay, now we can even come back here and look again here, and this is where sellers took control of this market. They are still in control, even though price is back up above some of these levels in here. In fact, let's just mark this up in here. Yeah, I really want to see what's going on around this level here. Okay, first it was our 95 level. Now it's actually 97 and a quarter that we're interested in, and also this level here at 98 and 3/4 or so. Okay, so our 95 level is, yeah, it's still important, but these levels in here we really want to understand here. Okay, and we're getting our answer here. Okay, so sellers in control below this level here. Now they are being tested again. Okay, back into the figure here once again. McLoco, let's see, seems like they don't on purpose to stop hunts. Not sure what you mean. I mean, you know, the larger players, I mean, they're interested in getting size on at their levels, whatever it takes, right, to have that unfold. Oh, you're talking about the big drop, this drop in here. Yeah, well, the stop run is like, it's like a book flip in essence, and you know, flipping it just kind of cracks me up. Like, you know, we've been talking about here. Let me show you. Do a Google search. I can put the document in here, but just do a Google search for it. CME rule 575. There we go. Okay, and there's a PDF right here. All right. Now this is from the CME back on, oh, it's been updated. Okay, I don't know when this came out exactly. It was before 2020 or 2021. Anyway, disruptive, prohibitive practice. You can go to jail for some of these things. Okay, it's criminal. And flip of the order book. Okay, we've talked about flip of the order book many times. Well, is this really a flip of the order book here? If you know, someone comes in, with the aggressor comes in, they sweep the order book, and then they just want to get filled here? No, right? So it's a way around. It's kind of a loophole, a way around it, in my opinion. In my opinion, that you know, we've got the larger player who just kind of capped it off here, said like, you know, we're not coming back up right now, and I'm going to get more size on here, and then we see a nice follow through, and they got exactly what they wanted. Okay, down into 90. Beautiful. Okay, and is it illegal? Well, maybe it will be in the future, but it isn't now. Now an order book flip is, and you guys know what an order book flip is, high liquidity. Like, it would be like this. It's basically the same thing. High liquidity here. Usually they don't get filled. They just pull that liquidity. Then they have the market sell, sweep through, and then high liquidity on the offer. Okay, so on the bid they pull, sweep through, and then on the offer. So instead, what we see here is high liquidity on the bid, but it did get filled. Right, and then we see the sweep, and then we see we don't see high liquidity on the offer here. Instead, we see an iceberg. Okay, so this is like a variation of a book sweep. Right, so and these things we want to understand. We want to understand, like you know, how some of these markets not only function, but how they how it can give us insight in here, okay, and how they're being gamed in here, right? And once we start to understand the game, we can also, you know, go along with it. Anyway, the creativity is pretty. I have to really hand it to some of these players. I mean, it's pretty impressive. Be able to do some of these things. It's like, okay, well, we can't do that. Well, we'll do this. There was another reaction to it too. Like here, maybe I can show you a video about it, which I thought was this was years ago. Okay, and let me show you where it is. Okay, so go to our YouTube channel, right? Scroll down, bonus material, order flow education. It should be in here. Let's click on it here in the playlist, and then look at it. In fact, let me go back actually. Hold on, and open this in incognito so we can get the number of the video. Is it this one? Not sure if it's this one. Which is really nice to see. No, it's not that one. Hold on. Hold on, we'll get there. Could be this one.
Hi, Trey. Phenomena here in the HFT.
No, these are really old. Boy, I don't know where it is. I'll keep looking for it. I'll put it into the chat room, guys, in Discord. It's oh, algo buying activity. This is it. Yeah, watch
Hi,
this
traders.
one.
I wanted to cover some.
This was fascinating. This was pre-market, and this is again like aggressor behavior in here in the algo. It was years ago, but you know, after this event here, and it was pre-market, and after this event that took place. And again, this goes back to James' question about like we can't understand the intent. Well, you can start to put the pieces together here. This is the action here in the order flow, and then we're looking for, since this is just massive accumulation in here, it just went on for a long time, and then there was a multi-day move after this. This was a big event, and it was pre-market actually. Look, you know, price is what, 2183 or something here on the S&P. See the green dots in here. Now I don't have the dots very high in here on the video, but they're just getting filled one after another here at these price levels. That's why you see a green bar in here. It's because there's so many little dots in here. They're getting filled. They're getting filled. They're getting filled. They're getting filled. They're hitting market buy and just taking liquidity here, but look at how nicely they're able to accumulate here. Right now, if you hit the book sweep that we talked about, that's when it sweeps the order book and takes all of the liquidity at multiple price levels. Here instead, the algo is accumulating a little bit but not sweeping the book, then accumulating a little bit more and not sweeping the order book. So they're able to, instead of using a passive order here, they're able to use an aggressive order and accumulate, and then, you know, they're moving it price against themselves in here a little bit. Okay, but it's not like a big book sweep, but in here, their average position is probably, somewhere around in here at this point, something like that. But the accumulation's tremendous. And yeah, it moved price higher over time, but they're able to still get on a lot of size in here without moving the market too much against them. All right. So another, and is this illegal? No, not at all. It's here. Let me put this into the chat for you guys. It's video number from the playlist. It is video number by algo activity here. Good Lord. Then we just put it into the chat. There it is, number 21, video number 21. All right. So I'll put it into the chat for you guys. There you go, and YouTube as well. Anyway, guys, like just want to say, I know that we're covering a lot of. We're here for the live order flow, but just seeing some really good stuff in here to cover about and I want to take the time to do this. This is an important part of the education, and then once we go through things like this, it allows other traders here like Tom B or Scott or J Trader to also they already understand a lot of these things. But there's details in here that maybe other traders, even veteran traders, maybe not, they don't know about because they've never had access to them before. Okay, not trying to say it's not egotistical or anything like that, or disrespectful whatsoever. Just think about it. For example, Brent Kachuba from Spot Gamma. This guy's an options whiz, right? He's talking about things that I've never even heard of before, and yet when he had access to that hero indicator, he also said, I've never seen this before. I've never seen real-time options information like this displayed in a chart. So he had to kind of relearn, or he had to kind of learn from that and apply it, right? So here you have an option. My point is, you have an options expert who wasn't aware of some of these things because he never had access to it. Therefore, same thing here. Scott Pulcini or J Trader or Tom may not have had access to some of these things before, right? But we're covering it here, so everybody can learn. Everybody can put these pieces together. And now we're more informed. We can make better trading decisions. Okay, and that's the goal in here. And we can use this information to our advantage. If we don't have access to information like this, let me show you what it looks like. It looks like this, a candlestick chart. Where's the volume? Yeah, we can add it in the subchart. Okay, this is the volume you're getting. Okay, just down here, big bar. Right? You have no clue where the where buyers and sellers are trading within this day here. You don't know. Okay, we can look at it 5 minute. Doesn't matter. We're just getting it. It's so opaque here. In a candlestick, my God. Open, high, low, close, that's what you're trying to figure out in here, compared to all of this in here. Stop run, the gaming, oh boy, we're seeing something really good now, guys. Like look at all of this liquidity in here. So this was what we were studying earlier, or looking at and analyzing here. We came back up, we popped above again here. We see a massive stop run here. We see massive icebergs here as well on the offer. Okay, so there's a lot going on right now. And this is the end of the European market here. Okay, so you know, these are a lot of larger players in here shoring up their positions at the end of the session for them. Okay, there's a lot going on. So now what we want to understand is the follow through after those events. And that's where we're going to read the order flow. Right. So what do we know? And we'll just leave it at this point right now. What do we know so far? Well, we have our stop run, rejection up, and a stop run into high liquidity. Okay, up into here. This is amazing. Up into high liquidity, up into these areas, and an iceberg and a stop run. I mean, it's just telling us all sorts of things. And then the sellers come in and sweep it down below. And we get follow through, and there's still icebergs chasing after it here down at some of these levels. All right, so what do we know? We know sellers took control here at this point, okay, around 99 or so. That's what we know. Okay, now maybe it will come back up and test it, and maybe all these sellers got it wrong. We'll see it though. Okay, we'll see maybe a massive bid in here, and we'll see these guys pull that liquidity in here, and we'll see big green dots, and we'll see a move up into 05, maybe 10, maybe higher. Right? So, and then we'll look at here. Let's look at our higher time frame. Where are we here, guys? We went through this yesterday, and we're looking for a test up into some of these levels up in here, and then we saw those icebergs. So we're looking for a pullback. In fact, I should go over yesterday's action. Yeah, yesterday's actions, this is where we left off. We saw all those icebergs, and then we saw this move. We were looking for this move down. We had our reasons. We were looking at this, what's 80 level here, right? 80 level here. And this is what we're looking at. So we were looking for a pullback. Strong move on the hourly up into our 80 level. We're looking for a pullback. And I recall saying, well, at this point, after our move back down lower, we don't know. Is it going to continue lower? Maybe. What we got was more buyers coming right back in and then lifting this higher. We have the gap here this morning and the move higher. Now, it went right through, and it gapped above it. It gapped above our levels in here that we were looking at. Okay, and it came up and filled this gap up here around 73. And I'm looking for this move up, and I like this 05 here. And I would be looking very, very intently at the order flow around this 05 up here, somewhere around there. And then also the next level would be like 44 up here. So, but this is some pretty strong buying right now. Okay, now that's what we see on the candlestick chart. Okay, in the order flow, we can see all sorts of other things going on in here. All right, so we know that in this smaller time frame, sellers took control. And we see a lot of icebergs, etc. And this has been a lot of gaming around this whole kind of area between 95 and 3,800 here. Here come the sellers again. All right, now let's see them drop it back down to 90. Okay, first stop, maybe take some risk off would be, now it's not a trade recommendation, but we're seeing sellers come in, and we know sellers are in control. So let's see them drop it down into 92.5 or so. Okay, and then we have 90 down below. All right, so anyway, guys, we'll leave it at that. If you like this, yeah, let me actually maybe it's worth a poll in here. I mean, this kind of education, like, do you just maybe a comment, if you guys can comment, you know, give us a like in here if you can, or subscribe to the channel. I mean, this kind of education, I have not seen it anywhere else. And I know we're kind of extending it here, but we're going through a lot of different things because we see a lot of interesting things in the market at this time. Yeah, if you guys like this, just if you can comment in here, you want to see more of it, because you know, we want to go through the live order flow analysis, and we are, but we want to also offer transparency into what's happening here, right? We really want to see that. This is what's going to make a difference between understanding this or understanding this. right? So big difference, right? So anyway, that's you know, pretty important distinction, right? So yeah, here comes our move, right, down into 92.5 here. It kind of bumped up back to where those sellers came in and took control in this time frame. Okay, and we're down at 92.5. I'm still seeing sellers here so far. No, now I see some buyers. Okay, yeah, we might get a pullback up into here, you know, back to 95, right? But let's see if we can get more sellers again and trade back down into 90. Right, so anyway, let's go back here. YouTube. Okay, great. Yeah, I'm happy that this you guys is well received here. The This is where I think, you know, in my opinion, I think where charting is going. This is where things are becoming more sophisticated for all of us as retail traders. We're getting insight to tools like this that we didn't have access to before, and it's giving us a lot of insight. Okay, instead of trying to extrapolate something from, you know, the candlestick chart here, right? Like this move here, this is a bullish move in your candlestick chart, right? This is bullish. There's no question about it. Look, higher highs, higher lows. You know, you see green candles up here. You're looking for a breakout. Well, here's what's happening. Why is all of a sudden this happening? It's because of what's happening in here. All right, it started here, and this is a wicked move too. All right, so anyway, I think I've gotten the point across. Yeah, we'll go through more and more like this, you know, more stuff when we see it, so that you know, you guys can carry this forward to anything, and really start to understand some of the details in here that will give you insight, right? This will add this should add higher probability outcomes to your trading activity, okay, because you have more insight of what's going on within some of these candles. Yeah, Sebastian, it's useless unless you're able to read it and understand it. That's why, exactly. That's why we're here. That's why we're here, to cover this content. It's such an important part, is to go through the this content here in education, so that then we can read it. You can ask questions, and again, go back, watch our educational course, and then you know, and then come to these webinars, ask questions. And we'll go through it all. All right. Yeah, thanks, guys. And some nice comments coming through here. Phil, it's pretty easy stuff. It's pretty easy stuff, to be honest. Phil, I'll leave you with this. I want to show you why it's pretty easy stuff. Okay, go here. Go to our YouTube channel, scroll down, go to our educational course here. Click on View Full Playlist, and then watch this part right here, part 1. What we're going through here this is the foundation, parts 1 and 2, but parts 1 is probably the most important. Okay, this is how the market works, how the market, you know, look at, like in what we're looking at right here, right? We're seeing the aggressors in here, sellers. Okay, God, I'm getting kind of choppy. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of a delay here in data. It's due to all the things I have open. See the sellers come in. All right, so sellers are taking control. They're trading into high liquidity here, but there's more selling, looking for them to drop it, into these levels here. Okay, and how do I know that? Because I can see the sellers here and here and here. Okay, now watch out if we get up here and we see buyers, okay, at 93. Okay, do we see them yet? No. So we're still selling. Okay, and this is all learned from that educational course, part 1, right here. Okay, you will understand how the markets operate, how they work. Okay, and then we're just looking at a lot more details in here in this webinar. Okay, and just from that little exercise right in here, we're at 92.5. down to 90.5 and even further, right? Do we think we were going to buy in here? No, no way. We didn't see it. If we're watching, if we got up here and we saw buyers, yes, it'd be different. But we didn't. We saw more selling. We're looking for them to come down to 90, right? So it's not complex stuff. This is not rocket science whatsoever. It's actually quite the opposite. What is rocket science is all of this, like candlesticks with indicators and all these things in here is way more complex than this. It really is. This is just simple stuff. This is what makes the market move. It is orders. And we're very cleanly displaying that in here. Now, we traded into high liquidity here, and we got, look, back and forth, still sellers. They could drop it here. They could. Okay, now, do we get buyers back up above this little swing here? Yes. Okay, our buyers here, not so good. Here looks much better. Okay, great. Let's see them target here, just here, just here. I'm not looking for more than just here. Okay, so, and they did. All right, so anyway, starting to understand how this market works. This high liquidity was a magnet for these sellers. Right? These are really, really simple concepts. So I would recommend that you guys, take a step back. All of the different ways of trading and this and that, and indicators and fibs and all these things. Just put it on the back burner for now. Don't think about it. Think about just how the market works, and it's really simple. And then once you understand that, you can bring in some of the previous education that you have, and it should simplify and clarify what you're looking at. Because I personally feel all of that other mumbo jumbo stuff is way more complex. You don't even know what it's made of in some cases. What is the stochastics? What is the equation of stochastics? What is the equation of RSI? What exactly is it doing? Well, I know where it's overbought and oversold, but that's meaningless within the price structure and the price action. Okay? Things can be overbought and oversold for a long, long time. Anyway, guys, enough. I really appreciate it, all the feedback in here. I've gone a little bit over these last couple of days because we've seen some good stuff in here, right? And some important stuff. These are important levels in here. And we'll go through more and polish it even more. But like I said, you guys, you'll see how you can use this back. You can integrate this back into whatever it is you're trading. If you're trading candlestick patterns, like if you're trading this candlestick pattern here, where is it? Hold on. Yeah, like these candlestick patterns in here. Right. So like, for example, this all of a sudden the bears came in, but actually it's still, we're still making higher highs in here. Right. We want to see the sell. Now we made a lower high in here, but now can we get enough sellers back down here? So this is a bigger picture look, right? And you can look at your candles. Now what makes up these candles in here? This is where sellers took control. Okay, we know that. This is where it retested and we didn't get buyers back up above it. We know that too due to the order flow, right? So now can sellers come back down in here and break this and then reverse it? Then we'd be looking for the next level down here or the next level down in here, right? And this is where you can put the candlestick pattern stuff together with your order flow, right? But just keep it simple for now. Go through the educational course, and then start to understand some of these moves like we did in here, like this move down. All right, and then you can start to look at some of the other things. All right, guys, really appreciate it. Thank you everybody for your comments, and it really helps me to put together, like, if this is helpful, if I should go over more, etc. I think it's very helpful stuff. I'm covering it. I just need your feedback. It's really helpful, and we'll go through more, or we'll go through other things that you guys want to look at. All right, and then we'll hone this down. We'll get really good at it, clarifying some of these things for you guys, so you can use it and put these pieces together. Yeah, I can't hang around longer, Phil. I gotta go. And I appreciate that, though. Guys, thanks again. Come over to our Discord if you want. We've got a nice chat room over there, and all sorts of stuff and materials, etc. All right, guys, thank you again, and we'll see you tomorrow. With I'll be in for initially, and then JTrader will come in, and then he'll go through stocks, and we'll do some live trading. Right, put these pieces together with his way of trading. Thanks again, guys. Take care.